Hello and welcome. I am Cy Rodriguez, and today I just wanted to talk with you a little bit about the subject of sleep. So, my question to you is sleeping more really good for you? What's your experience? Keep in mind, I'm giving you my opinion here, and I'm also going to mention a couple of other names here of people that have written on the subject of sleeping and different ways to sleep. And who have claimed that they are of these other ways of sleeping are beneficial to people, and they generally involve sleeping less. I also have a good friend who is always talking to me about different things that he's read, and he's actually a lot older than I am. I'm 43, and he has read a lot. I mean, more than most people that I've ever met, but it comes up a lot in the literature that he reads that sleeping, that you shouldn't worry about it one way or another, whether you miss it or get it, and that you can't make up for lost sleep, and that really it's not something you should even concern yourself with. It's just that you don't really need it as much as people think that you need it. I want to clarify that. You do obviously need to get sleep, and if you don't, and if you go for extended periods of time without sleep, there are some pretty serious side effects. Hopefully, those are all curable by more sleep. But I did a little experiment this morning, and all I did was I woke up, and it's the normal. Like, I didn't feel like jumping out of bed. I felt like, oh, I could sleep more, but had this ongoing thoughts about sleep, and I've gone through different phases where I'm sleeping like 4 hours or less a night, where I'm sleeping 6 to 8 hours a night. That's a pretty normal schedule. And then a little bit of time where I've actually had some consistent nights of sleeping more than 8 hours of sleep, somewhere between 8 and 10. And that doesn't happen too often. Although I think that that might be potentially good for somebody. It's just that there's not so much time in the day to do a lot of things, especially if you have kids, which I do. So I tend to want to do other things after my kids go to sleep too. But this morning, I just decided, okay, I'm going to lay in bed and see what happens if I just let myself to sleep until I feel like getting up. Interestingly enough, I laid there. I was like on the verge of sleep. I might have went in and out of sleep a little bit for an hour or two, and but in that time, I noticed that my body became very thirsty, and I could feel that I was starting to get hungry as well. But I just decided to give myself water, and I actually got up about 4 times to get a considerable amount of water. I drank a whole cup like this of water, which is about 16 ounces of water. I did that like 4 times just in the time that I was laying in bed, and it felt really good for my body. It felt like my body was finally getting to a place where it was actually rested, and it was absorbing the water and rehydrating. I felt some different kinds of pains and aches in different places in my body, and they felt like they were related to a healing, and maybe possibly to having been a little bit numb from pushing my body, not maybe getting enough sleep, and then my body actually now having the energy to push into those places where their healing needed to take place. And one of those was on my foot. I talked a little bit about this recently where I had got a big blister, got infected on my foot. It actually healed really good, and then, but I still had a Band-Aid covering it, and I ripped the Band-Aid off, and I ripped like a big chunk of skin off of my foot, and so that for a couple of days was really bothering me. It was very intense, the pain. So I noticed that around that area that the pain actually diminished almost to nothing, and it felt like energy was drawn down into my foot because it could be because I had that extra rest. And honestly, after sleeping this little bit of extra, I never really felt like 100% like jumping out of bed, but I did start to feel good and think about the things that I wanted to do and the things that I like to do in my life every day, even like making videos and editing videos and trying to find good information that I can share with others and also for my own benefit as well. And so I do think it relates to getting extra sleep sometimes is a very, very good thing. And I'm going to tell you why I think, and just ask you to consider this. Was there ever a time when you were a kid and you were sick, and hopefully you had really caring parents, or a caring mom or a caring dad, and they like had you rest, and they told you you needed to rest and get more fluids in you? And so while you were resting, maybe they gave you some lemonade or 7 Up, like if you were like me when I was a kid. Supposedly those things were good for you, although yeah, maybe the lemonade, if it was real lemonade. 7 Up, don't think so much, but one way or another, got more fluids in and rested, and you actually started to feel better. So I think a lot of times in life that people are just pushing themselves and pushing themselves, and they want to be productive, which is totally normal, especially in our fast-paced world. And I am a person who likes to get my rest. I'm sorry. I like to get my rest, but I mean, I'm the kind of person too that like I want to just keep on doing stuff and making more things happen. I think sometimes we push ourselves so far that, and we don't think it's a good idea to like get extra sleep, and a lot of times we just can't do it. But here's my thought to you, and this is based upon thinking about if you're ever in a time where you're just feeling like you're not well, like maybe you're a little extra tired generally, or you are feeling like you need a little bit of nurturing care. My recommendation is to just see if you're on your own and you can do this, just do it. Sleep in as long as you want to. Don't force yourself to get out of bed even when you're starting to feel good. Allow yourself to just lay there and allow the energy from your body to just feed all of your body, and and bring some water with you. Like, go lay with your water, keep drinking it, getting into you some filtered water preferably, and just see how you feel, because I think it's going to make you feel better, and I think it's going to be a healing experience for you, just like it was when hopefully your parents nurtured you when you were sick back to health by having you rest and get fluids in you. So that's my experience today. Now, really quick, another kind of sleep people do: polyphasic sleep. Sleep 6 times a day for 20 minutes to 30 minutes, average 2 to 3 hours of sleep a day. Is it good for you? Steve Pavlina kind of popularized this, and he claims that it was good for him and he got a lot done, and he continued it for something like 5 months. And there's some other people that have done it. My thoughts about polyphasic sleep is just, do you really want to do that to yourself? Now, if you're just a creative person, you're spending most of your time alone, and you want to see if you can be more productive, I do think you could probably be pretty productive that way. And if you don't have kids or family, then you could actually take that nap every 4 hours for 20 to 30 minutes, and it would possibly could have some benefit for you, specifically for productivity. For me, I'm just looking at it, I'm saying, do you really want to do that? Isn't life enough to like, I mean, I'm not saying don't take a nap sometimes or whatever. I mean, I'm not saying don't sleep here and there when you need to extra by any means. I'm saying even if you got more done, do you really want to schedule a nap in every 4 hours? Or do you want to sleep when it's nighttime with dark outside and just kind of like what would seem to be a normal sleep cycle? And no judgment from me on that. I'm just saying for myself, I pretty much want to sleep during the night and be awake during the day. That is just what I like. And I think a lot of people like that. On the other hand, if you're depressed, Frederick Patnaud published an article a little while back about sleeping and do you need sleep and how much sleep is really good for you. And if you're a depressed person, I guess there are some studies that have shown that sleeping a little bit less might help you to get out of depression. Seems kind of contradictory to me, but I could definitely relate and understand a little bit. If you are just sleeping every night for 8 to 10 hours or more and you're depressed, hey, why not change it up a little bit? Maybe you could do a little bit more of what you like, get a little bit more done, sleep less, and maybe you'll snap out of your depression. And this kind of less sleep, somewhere between, I guess, somewhere between 4 to 8 hours of sleep a night, there's no really serious consequences to that. And lots of people do something like 6 to 8 hours a night. So if you pull back a little bit less sleep and it helps you to snap out of depression, then more power to you. As for me, I hate it when I get only 4 hours of sleep a night, which has happened in the past. I hope that that doesn't happen too much more. But there is a question to me, like, somewhere between 6 and 8 hours, is there some optimal way to sleep that is best? I'm not 100% sure. How about you? Please post your comments and let me know what you think about sleep.